stories tonight. Nationwide schools operation back at 100% capacity. Idul Fitri max price control scheme extended until 10th May. And thanks for your company. Now, schools nationwide will revert to the pre-pandemic schooling system and operate at full capacity from Sunday. Senior Education Minister Dr. Rasmi said the rules on attendance will return to how they were before the pandemic began.
Mengambil kira keadaan semasa, kehadiran murid ke sekolah adalah diwajibkan. Jadi setelah kita bergerak ke fasa endemik ini, kita mewajibkan kehadiran murid ke sekolah. Namun seperti biasa, sekiranya ada sebab-sebab tertentu yang tidak dapat hadir ke sekolah, maka perlu maklumkan kepada pihak sekolah.
Teachers and school management are also required to return to school and conduct in-person lessons regardless of the teachers' vaccination status. This relaxation of SOP in the education sector is in line with Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin's SOP relaxation announcement yesterday. He said physical distancing measures will also be abolished. However, Dr. Razi said the wearing of face masks remained mandatory in indoor areas at school premises, except in certain situations. He said it is also compulsory for students to wear school uniforms from 12 June, besides complying with the guideline on haircuts. As for sports and co-curricular activities, he said all activities, including the hosting of competitions and tournaments within and outside schools, are allowed, but those who are symptomatic are not allowed to join in the activities. Meanwhile, the Senior Minister also announced that physical school registration for Form 1 and Form 4 will be conducted from 13 to 16 May. He said the 4 days period would give parents chance to choose suitable date and to make appropriate preparations. He added among SOP for boarding school is that only healthy and asymptomatic students are allowed to return to their hostel, while students with symptoms need to conduct a COVID-19 self-test.
Sekiranya negatif, maka murid ini perlu memakai pelitup muka sepanjang mereka di sekolah, dan sekiranya positif, khusus untuk murid asrama, mereka akan diletakkan di bilik isolasi atau dibawa pulang oleh ibu bapa mereka.
He also announced that parents will also be allowed to visit students staying in boarding schools at their hostels. The Hari Raya Idul Fitri festive season maximum price control scheme 2022 has been extended until 10th May. The decision was made through the National Action Council on Cost of Living meeting after taking into account the views and requests of consumers. According to Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Dr. Sri Alexander Nantalingi, this was also decided following the announcement by the Health Ministry regarding several loosening of restrictions. This includes permission to host Hari Raya open houses as well as physical house visits.
Kita menerima apa kata berita dan maklumat daripada umum Merayu supaya mungkin kalau boleh dipanjangkan skim harga maksimum perayaan ini, sebab sekarang dikuatkuasakan pada 26 April hingga 6 Mei. Ya. Jadi 6 Mei ini hanya 2 hari saja selepas pilihan Hari Raya Idul Fitri.
In the same meeting, it was decided that the market price of chicken will remain at 8 ringgit and 90 cents until the 5th of June. The government has agreed to increase the chicken subsidy to ensure the maintaining of its market price. In other development, the KBD and HEP received 18 reports related to vehicles with foreign registration number plates filling up RON 95 petrol at Johor stations. From the total, 9 of them are currently being investigated under the Control of Supplies Act 1961. Datuk Seri Alexander said to date, no such reports have been lodged in states other than Johor. As of now, authorities have only taken action against the petrol station owners involved. Furthermore, there are no plans to take action towards foreign registered vehicles drivers which fill up with RON 95 petrol.
Larangan ini terlaksana serta-merta di seluruh negara dan bukan hanya negeri-negeri bersepadan dengan negara asing seperti Singapura dan Thailand sahaja. Di seluruh negara, RON 95 ini dilarang untuk diguna dalam kenderaan nombor pendaftaran negara asing.
The Communications and Multimedia Ministry is studying the possibility of tightening existing laws to act against those who misuse social media by uploading offensive posts. Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998 has already explained the guidelines of media postings. He added that existing laws can be considered adequate. It was not so effective in checking contents uploaded from overseas platforms such as Facebook and Twitter. Tan Sri Anwar explained that the process is quite lengthy as preliminary investigations must be conducted before bringing it to the Attorney General's chambers to seek the cooperation of the country concerned.
Kita memang sedang membuat satu penelitian kepada akta sedia ada kalau sekiranya ada ruang yang boleh kita tambah baik dan kita sesuaikan dengan pengalaman yang kita lalulah dalam menguruskan benda ini.
The Special Operations Team formed under the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission will help in expediting investigations into offences related to the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. The Housing and Local Government Ministry, KPKT, will develop a youth transit home in transit-oriented development, TOD, areas specifically catered to those in the lower M40 and B40 group. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Rizal American Naina American, said discussions with involved parties are being conducted before the initiative can be implemented under the 12 Malaysia Plan 12MP. The Minister explained that the involvement of private corporations and parties will also be needed to overview and ascertain areas with a high value of developmental potential.
Transit-oriented development. TOD ini adalah tanah-tanah yang berada di jajaran MRT dengan LRT. Dan di kawasan-kawasan di sini akan ada tanah-tanah lebihan yang boleh dibangunkan untuk pembinaan-pembinaan kawasan-kawasan kata penginapan, kawasan-kawasan kediaman. Kita juga nak melihat dari segi viability kepada pihak pemaju swasta ataupun sektor swasta yang menyertai ataupun yang mengambil bahagian dalam RFP untuk pembangunan di tanah-tanah TOD ini. InsyaAllah dalam masa terdekat nanti saya akan umum ataupun RFP ini akan diumumkan.
And still to come, new minimum wage gazetted, effective from Sunday. Stay tuned. Malaysia's new minimum wage rate of 1,500 ringgit has been officially gazetted and will take effect nationwide this Sunday. The minimum wages order 2022 made by Human Resources Minister Datuk Seri M. Saravanan was published in a federal government gazette yesterday. However, exception is given for employers with fewer than 5 staff members, which will only be legally required to start paying the minimum wage from January next year. This means that the minimum wage that employers must pay workers would amount to 7 ringgit and 21 cent an hour. In daily wages, this translates to 57 ringgit and 69 cent for a 6-day work week and 69 ringgit and 23 cents for a 5-day work week. For employees who are not paid basic wages but are paid wages based only on piece rate, tonnage, task, trip or commission, the rates of monthly wages that has to be paid to such employees is at least 1,500 ringgit. If an employer carries out a professional activity classified under the Malaysia Standard Classification of Occupations, as published officially by the Human Resources Ministry, the new 1,500 ringgit rate will apply from the 1st of May, regardless of how many employees are employed by such an employer. And in other news, the percentage of households that has access to the internet has increased to 95.5% in 2021, compared to 91.7% in 2020. The information was obtained from results of the ICT use and access by individuals and household survey report released today by the Department of Statistics Malaysia (DOSM). According to Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin, access to mobile phones and computers also increased to 99.6% and 88.3% respectively in July 2021. The survey was conducted for a 3-month period from September to November 2021 after the reopening of selected economic activities in September 2021 and full opening in October 2021. Its implementation after the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic suggested that the internet usage among Malaysians aged 15 and above increased significantly to 96.8% in 2021. This increasing trend can be attributed to the home-based teaching and learning (PDPR) program carried out for the majority of the pandemic period. Last year, more than half of 70.5% of Malaysian users used internet banking compared to 61.9% in 2020. This follows the surge in popularity of purchasing goods or services through e-commerce, such as Shopee, Lazada and Grab. Now, 13 Form 4 students were arrested today in connection with the assault of a fellow student in a secondary school in Langkawi. According to Langkawi Police Chief ACP Shariman Ashari, 12 students were rounded up at 12:30 p.m. and one more was picked up at 3 p.m. 5 of those arrested are classmates of the assault victim, while the rest are from other classes. ACP Sharman said all the suspects' statements are being recorded as part of the investigation. Police this morning received a report on the assault of a 16-year-old schoolboy by several other students, with a 25-second video of the incident having gone viral on social media. The incident was said to have happened yesterday, caused by a misunderstanding among the students. The Kedah government views the act of violence seriously, and its Religion, Education and Human Resource Committee Chairman, Datuk Najmi Ahmad, said such an accident should not have happened, especially in Ramadan. All parties, including the school, management, teachers, district education officers and the parent-teacher board, should be more aware in handling the case. Several Rohingya detainees who escaped from the Sungai Bakap Immigration Detention Depot near the state border of Kedah and Pulau Pinang last week have been sighted in Selayang, Selangor. Immigration Director General Datuk Seri Khairul Zaimi Daud said efforts were being done with the cooperation of the Royal Malaysia Police to ascertain their exact current location. He said most of the detainees who are still at large were believed to be street smart, especially in areas in Pulau Pinang and Kuala Lumpur, as they had worked and resided there before. Met after leading the immigration raids on Selayang and Kuala Lumpur wholesale markets today, he said there are 61 Rohingya detainees still at large. On the raids on the wholesale markets, Datuk Seri Khairul Zaimi said 248 illegal immigrants were detained during the raids, which were mounted following public complaints about the illegal immigrants operating shops and stalls by the roadside near the markets. Those detained comprised 205 men and 43 women.
Dan daripada ini, mereka yang memegang kad UNHCR ialah seramai 109 orang. Dan daripada 109 orang ini, 106 orang ialah etnik Rohingya dan 3 lagi ialah warga negara Pakistan yang turut memiliki kad UNHCR. Dan selebihnya seramai 139 yang lain terdiri daripada mereka yang tidak memiliki sebarang dokumen. Dan mereka ini ialah warga negara Pakistan, India, Myanmar, Indonesia dan juga Bangladesh.
And on a lighter note, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Semasa today accompanied 54 orphans and Asnaf children under his care to shop for new sets of clothes for Hari Raya Aidilfitri at a shopping mall in Putrajaya. With ease, Datuk Seri Semasa, who calls himself Atok, brought smiles to children's faces who looked very excited to see him from as early as 9:30 a.m. And speaking to media later, the Prime Minister said the shopping trip was his annual routine with the orphans who have also become his adopted children ahead of the Aidilfitri celebration.
Walaupun kesempatan nak jumpa selalu tu tak ada, tapi sekurang-kurangnya setahun sekali tu saya dengan dia orang, ya, setahun sekali. Kalau ada majlis berbuka puasa, saya pun ajak dia orang. Jadi waktu puasa raja tu memang saya ada dengan mereka lah. Lepas tu dia orang kenal saya secara personal.
Pure happiness were obvious in the children's smile as they were allowed to pick their own raya outfits and shoes according to their preferred colours and designs.
Atuk dah belanja kita orang baju, seluar, semua yang Atuk bagi. Saya doakan Atuk semoga sukses dan berjaya dan sihat selalu.
Seronok tak Atuk belanja ini?
Seronok.
Jadi pagi tadi pukul berapa? Tak tahu Atuk nak belanja ni?
Bangun pukul 6. Terima kasih Kak Atuk belanja baju hari ini.
Malaysia's chef de mission CDM to the Hanoi SEA Games, Dr. Nur Azmi Ahmad, has described the target of 36 gold, 35 silver and 75 bronze medals set for the national contingent at the biennial games as achievable. He said the target announced by Youth and Sports Minister Dr. Sri Ahmad Faisal Azumu was not a problem for the national contingent, which was made up of a combination of young and senior athletes. According to Dr. Nur Azmi, the goal target was expected based on evaluations made at medal target setting workshops, whereby the sports associations concerned exercised care in finalizing their target. He said this when met at the Jalur Gemilang handover ceremony for the Malaysian contingent to the Hanoi Games at the National Sports Council Bukit Jalil. Meanwhile, Nur Nabita Sabri, Malaysia's flag bearer in Vietnam, believes the target was reached after taking into account all aspects of the strengths and shortcomings of the national contingent in this edition. The Hanoi SEA Games is scheduled to take place from 12 to 23rd May. At the 2019 SEA Games in Manila, the national contingent collected 56 gold, 57 silver and 72 bronze, far off the target of 70 gold, 51 silver and 105 bronze, and were ranked 5th overall compared to the 4th place target given. And also, the national under-23 football squad have the potential to end a decade-long wait to win the gold medal in the men's football event at the Hanoi SEA Games next month. According to Youth and Sports Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Faisal Azumu, the national team have a good selection of players who can bring home the gold.
Walaupun persiapan pasukan terlewat sikit, tetapi kemampuan para pemain tu saya fikir kita bukan tahap kaling-kaling lah. Kita satu pasukan yang digeruni lah di Asia, dan juga di peringkat Asia ni memang ya up there lah. So I'm pretty sure kita akan bagi saingan yang paling baik, insyaAllah.
Meanwhile, under-23 head coach Brad Maloney has not set any specific targets for his team, but assured that he would form the best squad that would be capable of providing fierce competition. The last time Malaysia won gold medal in the men's football event of the SEA Games was in 2011 edition in Indonesia, when Dato' Ong Kim Swee was the coach. Malaysia, who are drawn in Group B, are scheduled to face Thailand on 7 May at the Tien Trung Stadium, Nam Ding. Now, fresh off their victory against Guangzhou FC last night, Johor Darul Ta'zim JDT are set to compete for the last 16 spots in the Asian Champions League in the last Group I match this Saturday. The Southern Tigers will be having a winners-take-all match against Ulsan Hyundai, who beat Japanese champions Kawasaki Frontale 3-2 last night. A win against Kawasaki Frontale will confirm JDT's advance to the knockout stages. However, JDT head coach Benjamin Mora said this could be difficult as the final group match will be held at 5 p.m. when most of the squad members are fasting.
You know, we respect, of course, fasting season, and we cannot influence in that situation to the players. But I know they are committed, and I know they might find the way to rest better, maybe, and maybe I find a way to swap some players for others to be fresh. But of course, I guess we cannot do anything about it.
In the match against Guangzhou FC last night, Bergson da Silva emerged as club hero when he scored a brace of penalties. The Southern Tigers should have scored more when Akyat Rashid and Khalid Murga made their attempts, but unfortunately, both of them missed their targets. After 5 matches in Group I, both JDT and Ulsan Hyundai are tied with 10 points, followed by Kawasaki Frontale with 8 points, and while Guangzhou FC failed to collect any. And wrapping up news at 10 with a reminder of our top story tonight. Nationwide schools operation back at 100% capacity. Join us for more updates at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. Thank you for your company. Till then, it's lights out. I'm Brendan Paul. Stay tuned to Solid on Berita RTM. Good night.